Deeply disturbing. Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today, thank you for watching. The Green Party of England and Wales, in my view, is deeply disturbing and deeply nefarious, and I want to get into why. If they're elected to government, they are looking to de-establish the Church of England as the state religion. And I have an issue with this. It is an attack on our culture and an attack on our history. Full disclosure, I am Christian. Full disclosure, I don't much care if my subscribers or followers are, because my faith is for me. It doesn't really matter if other people believe what I believe. That's a matter for them.
My beliefs do not require them to.
But it is part of our cultural identity, and that's why I think it's important, and that's what I'm going to get into with this now. So I'm going to bring up the first part of the story. The Green Party has announced plans to separate the Church of England from the state should it win the next general election. Under proposals outlined in the party policy documents, Zach Balansky, that's a fake name by the way, I think his real name is Dave, the party would end the Prime Minister's involvement in appointments of the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Church would also become a self-governing institution, while bishops currently sitting in the House of Lords, that's right, the bishops are legislators, would lose their seats. Elsewhere, the role of the Church's representatives in the House of Commons, held by Labour MP Marcia de Cordova, would also be scrapped. No person shall hold the office in the state or be excluded from any such office by virtue of their spouse's membership or non-membership of a religion or denomination of religion, a party policy document has stated. De-establishing the Church would also undo nearly 5 centuries of history. Henry VIII created the Church of England as a nation's official church in 1534 Act of Supremacy, which broke with Rome. Many characterise this is just an aside from me, as the first Brexit, to which I agree. The King is still the head of the Church to this day. Any ideas why they could be gesturing for this? I'll give you one.
We will raise the voice of Gaza! We will raise the voice of Palestine!
That is one of the deputy leaders of the Green Party in England and Wales. I guess you can tell he's from the religion of peace. Yeah, I don't believe it's the religion of peace either. And then we'll continue with the story. Church law, as a result, forms part of the law in England and Wales. Countries including Iceland, Denmark, Malta still retain an established church, though the Church of Wales and Church of Scotland were both cleaved away from the state in the 1920s. A former Bishop of London, Lord Charteris, has said in the past that the Church of England is already the most de-established church in Europe. Although the church is responsible for 45% of all Grade 1 listed buildings in England, worshippers largely pay for their upkeep, and the clergy are paid without substantial public finance or funds, unlike in Germany and France, which are still funded by the state. And then finally we get on to this. Dr. Jonathan Chaplin, a specialist in Christian political theology, has argued that growing secularisation and declining congregations have left the Church of England's place as the Church of the nation in peril. This was echoed by the former Prime Minister Liz Truss, that says you have to be Islamic commie nutjob to conclude that Britain's problem is too much Christianity. Now here's my 2 penneth worth. I am Protestant, but I don't agree with the Church of England in its current form. I don't agree with the fact that it's essentially a state propaganda machine. It's been co-opted by the state, and it's been co-opted by the government of the day. The Archbishop of Canterbury, or previous ones, saying that we need to be welcoming to all of these boat people, these refugees coming across the channel, is exactly the same talking points you get from the government, and exactly the same talking points that you get from the BBC and many other public-facing institutions. So I don't agree with the fact that the church has been co-opted. It should keep to God. They should just be the God Squad. That's literally what the church should be. Now I do have a problem with the Green Party and their Muslim Trojan horse, looking to de-establish our Church of England, because they say they're doing it to be secular. I don't buy that. If you look at the history of the conquering the invasive religion that is Islam, in every single country that they have conquered, this is the first step. They de-establish the established church. It becomes a secular society, maybe for a generation, maybe for two. Inevitably, it will become a Muslim country. I do not want this for England. I do not want this for the United Kingdom. I do not want this for the wider Western world. Now, you don't have to be a Catholic or a Christian to believe in the value of being a cultural Christian. Many people in this country are culturally Christian and are informed by the teachings of the Bible in their daily life, just being a decent human being. This is not universal. This is specific to Christianity and my understanding. I want to play this clip from a guy that is 50-50 in my view. This is Professor Richard Dawkins. This is from a few years ago, but this is his thoughts on the matter. So we're going to play the clip now.
To hear that Ramadan is being promoted instead. I do think that we are culturally a Christian country. I call myself a cultural Christian. I'm not a believer, but there's a distinction between being a believing Christian and being a cultural Christian. And so, I love hymns and Christmas carols, and I sort of feel at home in the Christian ethos. I feel that we are a Christian country in that sense.
I think a lot of people that would characterise themselves as non-believers would hold to this view that Professor Dawkins is expressing here, that they may not be a verbatim believer in the Bible, or they may not believe the teachings of Christ verbatim, or that it is a historical document in that sense, that everything in it is literally true. But you like the churches. You want to be married in a church. You want a traditional Christmas. You like the Christmas carols. You like the trappings of the Christian culture that has evolved over hundreds of years. That doesn't mean you need to be God squatting it with the church every week. Just a view.
It's true that statistically the number of people who actually believe in Christianity is going down, and I'm happy with that. But I would not be happy if, for example, we lost all our cathedrals and our beautiful parish churches. So I count myself a cultural Christian. I think it would matter if we substituted any alternative religion. That would be truly dreadful.
Well, which brings me to my supplementary point, which is that, as we know, church attendance is plummeting, but the erection of mosques across Europe, I think 6,000 are under construction, and there are many more, are being planned. So do you regard that as a problem? Do you think that matters?
It's a major problem in my view. They should be banned. We may not be a Christian country where we have a majority of believers, but this is the majority of Europe now. The foundation of the Christian faith built the greatest civilization that the world has known, which is the European and the Western culture and civilization. That is due to Christianity, in my view, and the freedoms and the tolerance that Christianity teaches us to have. You don't find that in the second largest religion, which is the conquering religion. You don't find that. They're here to subvert our institutions to their will. And if you've got a problem with that, you might be getting a knock on the door from Keir Starmer's Stasi.
Yes, I do really. I choose my words carefully. If I had to choose between Christianity and Islam, I choose Christianity every single time.
Why does he have to choose his words carefully? What are they going to do to him exactly? Are they going to liberate his head from his body?
It seems to me to be a fundamentally decent religion, in a way that I think Islam is not.
I think you're going to have to explain why you say that, Professor Dawkins. Why is Islam fundamentally not decent like Christianity?
Yes, the way women are treated. Christianity is not great about that. It's had its problems with female vicars and female bishops and things, but there's an active hostility to women, which is promoted, I think, by the holy books of Islam. I'm not talking about individual Muslims, who of course are quite different.
The individual is inconsequential to what the pen holders in a country or in a religion actually decide. We know this from our own country. Most of the country hates who's here, but is doing what it's going to do anyway. The peaceful majority are irrelevant, and it's the same in the major religions. The difference between Islam and Christianity is that in Islam there's a push to be more conservative. In the Christian tradition there's a push to be more liberal, which is why we allow female vicars and bishops now. But the opposite is true in the religion of peace. They go the other way. Back in the day, halal slaughter could be done by any man of the cloth in any faith, and now it has to be done by a Muslim. So that's just one example.
But the doctrines of Islam, the Hadith and the Quran, is fundamentally hostile to women, hostile to gays, and I find that I like to live in a culturally Christian country, although I do not believe a single word of the Christian faith.
So we'll leave that there. So do you think I'm right on this? Do you think that being a cultural Christian matters? If you're a non-believer, do you think it's problematic to have a established church? Are we a secular state? Do you think it's preferable to a imposed religion that's been in our country relatively short period of time, that looks set on conquering our country? I mean, where are you on this? If you like this video, comment, like and subscribe. There's no right or wrong answer. I want to hear every point of view. I really do. I appreciate your time, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.